Iris. Welcome to my art studio where all the magic happens. This is the station for painting, and that is the station for all the resin art I do. If you want to check out my art, all you gotta do is go to lutfstudio.com. Finish this painting, but I'm sure, or at least I hope, I'll see you at lutfstudio.com. Hello world. Okay, here's an idea, Michael. We're just gonna grab that soundtrack and just like play it the whole time in our ears, because it just like gets me on. Like,
yeah, it pumps you up. I had a funny thought too watching that commercial. I wonder who has that painting that you're holding in the commercial, and if every time they see that now they like look at their wall and look for the painting.
That's a good question, and I wish I could remember, but I can't. I know it's a little hard. At some point, you lose track of who purchased which painting. But let's just stop talking about. No, I won't talk about. I'm gonna play the song in my head. But hello, everybody. How y'all doing? I hope you're doing as good as me and Michael, and ready for Christmas in just a few days short of end of 2022. It's done. It's over. Well, almost over. I mean,
yeah, despite Arctic weather coming in, it is still another day in paradise. Christmas is almost here. There's a lot of things to be happy and to be excited about as the year comes to a close.
Very true, especially this specific year. And earlier as I was getting ready, I was like, I should probably eat first and then, get ready. I'm like, no, I should probably get ready. You know how it is. I'm a woman. We always have to follow what am I going to wear? What makeup am I going to put on? Sometimes even what do I eat before I go on air? Anyways, as I'm doing all of that, I'm like, I should probably close the front door. It is -8 degrees and my front door is open. And the house is doing pretty good. Like the heater is keeping up. I'm like, I should probably close the door just in case if we just decide to go from -8 to -32 within the time we're on air. And I'm like, okay, guys, I'm just going to die here of freezing cold. It's been a roller coaster last 2 days, like up, down, up. It hasn't gone over 0. So it's all minus. But like we have -3 and then it goes -8, goes -11, -10. But it's fun. It's fun cold. It's cold. It's not fun. That part, I am absolutely lying. I don't like this cold.
Yeah, and it's all just rolling in here where I'm at in Ohio. The temperature's starting to drop now, and I'm looking forward to waking up to -4, -8. I can't even remember what it's supposed to be in the morning tomorrow, but I know it is going to be freaking cold.
I think your area is going to -8. Hey, at least you're not getting the -11. And as mentioned on the comment by Chrissa, we ain't getting the -51 they got in Canada. So we should probably be a little less. I'm sorry, Chrissa. We feel for you, but we're a little spoiled here, especially me. Like out of 13 years of my 20 years life in America, I was in Los Angeles. Like anything below 60, and it was cold. So -8 is not really that exciting. But we should stop the weather talk because first of all, I want to make sure I did make a post on Facebook. Hopefully people caught it. I am still on ban on Facebook, so I won't be back on Facebook until January 9th. So in the meantime, we're going to be here on YouTube and of course Lindell TV as well. Well, I should be very clear. This is our very last live stream of the year. We won't be back until after New Year. The decision was on Lindell TV made that the last week we will run the best of the year for every show. So that's that as far as our own YouTube channel goes. Me and Michael were working on a few projects. We want to get them ready as soon as possible. So we figured we will also take a break from live streaming outside of Facebook and Lindell TV, including YouTube, so we can make sure to get things, the blueprints ready, and we will talk about all of that. By the way, I want to tell everyone, just in case if you're tuning in to hear any kind of like report on any specific news, we do apologize for disappointing you. The next half an hour, 40 minutes, 1 hour, whatever we stay here, we will talk to you if you talk to us on the comment section, but we will just literally conclude on this year and give you all the good news, at least on our end for next year. Feels like I am talking forever without giving you a chance. Like, this is when you should say, woman, take a breath.
Oh, no, you're fine. But I think you covered everything I wanted to also. That there's a lot of irons in the fire. Come New Year's, we're going to be bringing a lot of new things, a lot of new ideas, and things will be changing in a good direction. And everybody says they want to make changes in the new year, but we decided earlier we're going to stay the same. We're going to stay exactly who we are and keep doing what we're doing. We're going to do more of it because that's the change that we want to bring.
Yep, we are not doing the new year, new me. We're going for new year, the very same old me. On behalf of myself, Michael Lauer, and everybody else at Live Up to Freedom team, we all have decided we are good who we are. And on that note, we decided on behalf of everyone at Live Up to Freedom, I'm just a messenger. It is my message to, but to our lovely, lovely audience who absolutely supported us the entire year of 2022, we are immensely grateful. Nothing we do could have been possible if it wasn't for your support in all shapes: comments, sharing, reacting, purchasing products, using our promo code, making direct donations, even sometimes sending private messages to boost our energy, or if we were down, if we were doubtful of what we were doing, your kind words of encouragement has absolutely made the ultimate difference of us still being here, Live Up to Freedom still running and standing. So as we come to Christmas and New Year's, we figured the very first message to start with is thank you. We're grateful for you being out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you again for the comments tonight. And thank you for sharing, everyone that has. And I want to mention one other thing with the comments. Like, if you have a question, ask it. Or if you spot something you think would be of interest or isn't getting covered, send it in. Because there's been several times where both of us have been made aware of something we wouldn't have seen otherwise, but somebody was kind enough to email it to us. Or even just asking us a question, maybe make us think about something a little different than we had. And that points us in a new direction, opens new doors.
Absolutely. Agreed. And again, we check, I check liveuptofreedom@gmail.com regularly. Me, Michael, and Chrissa, we have them on our phones, meaning one of us will come to it. Send us emails if you have suggestions, you have comments, you have questions, or as Michael said, if you have a report that we have missed, do continue. I guess we want to make sure you continue staying in touch with us in 2023, or maybe even more in touch with us. On that note, let's talk about the first good news we have. We are hoping, Lord willing, with your support and our own commitment, before the mid year 2023, we're aiming for somewhere April or May. It might extend a little longer, but me and Michael, we will have in a studio. What do I mean by that? We are working on putting together a studio where we will be able to actually invite guests into the studio. We're going to start a roundtable programming where we come to you live. It's not going to be just me and Michael. Not that I'm saying you're sick and tired of me and Michael, but maybe you are. But we will have guests in our studios. We will do roundtables. We will do debates. We're going to have, those who are on our side, those who are not. We want to start the dialogue. One thing we want to do in 2023 is try to stop the division based on difference of thought process. We want to hear everybody's end. We want to talk to everyone. Now, certain thought process will not be debated. For example, I'm not going to have some Muslim guy come tell me Islam is a religion of peace. No. But when it comes between left, right, conservative, Democrat, liberal, we need to learn to have a dialogue. So on that note, we are working on building that studio, put it together. I'm not too good as far as technical terms goes. That's all Michael. He knows what's going to happen. I just do the producer thing. Like, okay, we need a table and we need a light and we need this many cameras. I do the bossing around. I don't do. Do I boss you around, Michael? No, I don't.
No, but you're very good, especially the visuals and setting up the cameras, knowing how all that goes. I have a background in audio. So between the two of us, and I'm good at hiding wires and, keeping everything out of frame. So we make a good team together, especially when it comes to this. But bringing people these debates, because one problem that we've touched on this over and over again, where even people that are on our side politically, if there's some little minor disagreement, all of a sudden, you don't want to support this person, or that person. We've got to get to a point where there has to be room for debate and for differences of opinions under our tent. Political parties always talk about wanting to have a big tent and being inclusive. But if we're the ones not doing that and wanting to throw somebody out because it's a slight difference of opinion, I understand there being red lines that people don't want to be crossed, but you can have a different idea or a different perspective on something, and sometimes it helps the other side learn too once it's explained. So we want to be able to bring more of those kind of things to you, bring in some people that maybe do have some slightly different views or just new ideas. We definitely need new ideas on our side. We've been trying for the last year to fix a lot of these things, and there's been very little resolution. So maybe we need to start approaching some of these problems a different way.
Absolutely. And also, we need to realize when we talk about um, somewhat of free speech, we ourselves need to relearn the concept. It feels like last 2 years especially, we have kind of eliminated the concept and we just use the term without the actual tangible understanding of it. So one of our goals for doing this is to relearn ourselves, our audience, those who come to our program, to relearn the concept of freedom of speech. As you know, I always walk around and say First Amendment gives me the right to be offensive and gives you the right to be offended. So let's relearn that, to be offended without having to take dramatic measures to how to react to how I'm offended. I mean, it's okay to be offended. I get offended barely, but when I do, I don't lose my cool over it. So that's another part of why we thought about this, studio. Of course, our joint programming will become somewhat, I would say, probably better quality because we get the chance to be in the same room. We're still, of course, gonna do the split screens, full screen, all that, fancy stuff, but we'll be in the same room. So the broadcasting bandwidth sent out will be one shared, much better quality. So just in case, if anybody is excited about this new concept that is coming up, this is absolutely a request. It's an open invitation. Nobody needs to lose their cool over this sentence. And if you do, that's all right. I'm just going to giggle over it. We are not
Exactly.
a nonprofit organization. Live Up to Freedom is a LLC, which is a limited liability corporation. We cannot provide you tax write-off papers, but the 2022 has set the record for Live Up to Freedom to be one and only English language, or I guess that's the right term, media or reporting or journalism to cover concepts and details that no other English speaking platform has done so. So talking to Michael, we thought we might possibly have earned the position to say building this studio will be costly. We're both going to put out of pocket money into it. However, if anyone's interested in investing without a return, the only return is we get to do the programming. So let's make sure I'm not saying anything anyone's misunderstanding. You can send donations that are not, I repeat, are not tax deductible. They are not tax deductible. You can send donations to our PayPal account, which is on the lower third. You can see it there. PayPal.me. Yeah, right there. Right. Hold on. I gotta find this now. Okay, over here. Right.
There we go.
There you go. Right there. PayPal.me /LUTF. If you like to be part of this, if you want to help us get it going faster, because budget is always one of the reasons things could get delayed, feel free to do so. We will consider it a Christmas gift, a New Year's gift. Just thank you for what you've done in 2022 gift. However,
yes,
but please do keep in mind, it will be nothing but a gift. Unfortunately, we are not a nonprofit, and I have always said I will not go that path with Live Up to Freedom, because Live Up to Freedom, the name by itself, which is the method of my own personal life, and those who know me in person, including Michael, can definitely vouch for that. I will not allow government or IRS to tell my Live Up to Freedom organization what to say, what not to say, where to go, where not to go. And that is the first thing. A nonprofit 501c status equals a gag. I'm not receiving it. So if you're still comfortable with making a gift or a donation that is not going to give you a tax write-off, well, you know where to go and how to send it. Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, and I don't think a lot of people understand like just how restrictive becoming a 501c3 is and how limited it is and what we can do. It also puts you under a microscope, which basically means you're getting an audit every year and they're going to pick through everything you did with a fine-tooth comb. And being on the side of the political spectrum that we are, we know that's going to lead to there won't be any leeway. If we make some kind of mistake and we're a 501c3, they're going to strip us of the status. We're going to have to pay fines, and then we won't be able to bring this program to people anymore.
Exactly. And we should also talk about this as it was advised by few of our very loyal audience. So we need to make few things clear as to how it happened in 2022 and where it's gonna be again in 2023. Myself, I have one a full-time job, one a part-time job, two freelance jobs. When I say jobs, not to sit in front of camera or report or translate or bring you news. No, it's actual when I sit on the computer, either editing, post-production, production, uploading, downloading, fixing website issues, all that. And as most of you are familiar, my employers are Lindell TV, Frank Speech, Wordwe Weekend of Brannon House, and the Glazov Gang, where I am the producer. I've been a producer for, wow, I feel so old right now, but it's okay. I'm gonna say it, 11 years.
Wow.
So that's where I pay my bills with. Michael also have I'll let him discuss details if he wants. He also have a job that he pays his bills with. When we come to you on a live broadcasting, pre-filmed production, having guests on anything that happens, neither one of us gets a penny to do it. That is why we have things such as promo code. For example, you can go to mypillow.com or myastore.com, use the promo code AC21, again on the lower third, information available. And when you do that, we get credit, meaning we get commission in return of your purchase from the profit. If you go to my artist store, lutfstudio.com, you purchase a piece of art using your promo code Frank or not, that money comes back to help us continue doing the productions we do, reporting we do, translation. And that's the thing. A lot of people think it's just that easy. You know, I hear something, I translate. Michael has been there when translation has happened. You gotta correct the grammar. You gotta go from right to left to right. It takes time. Now we are glad to do it. Do not think that we're bringing any of this up because we're discouraged or we're not going to do it unless we get the money. No, 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 no. Things are going to go on, as they say, show must go on, and Live Up to Freedom will go on until the day the freedoms are out there. We will be with you, and even after that we will be with you, unless they take us into prison, and then sorry, I don't think they're going to give us a camera to do our live broadcasting. However, I want to make sure, if we promote our promo code, if we promote my artist store, if we promote our PayPal, this is because everything we do from day one of Live Up to Freedom until today, I have personally never received a dime to go on anyone's show or, to do my own show. We don't get paid. We are not paid journalists. And I think, Michael, that's one of the reasons we're kind of sort of favored by a lot of our audience, because it's clear we're not paid. Yeah. We just do our own thing. We put our own mind on the table. But yeah, all of that is involved, and broadcasting is costly. Thankfully, with my industry experience and Michael's industry experience, we have minimized the cost, but there's still a cost.
Yeah.
So
well, a lot of times, like, just so people do understand, like, a lot of these things you and I we pay for personally, and then sometime in the future we may get reimbursed out of Live Up to Freedom. Like, for just to give them a good example, you got a microphone that's spazzing out right now. So again, you had to buy that out of pocket. Yeah, that one. Buy a replacement out of pocket, and then later, once some kind of a donation or something else comes in through Live Up to Freedom, then it can be reimbursed. So we do end up like floating a lot of this, at least until something comes in. We're not paid to do it, and it is a cost associated with it, plus all the research and all the time and everything else that goes. And I think the translations are a really good example, because even just bringing a short video like we did together a few months ago with the Air Force commander, I'm blanking on his name, in Iran. It wasn't just like we took the video and I read a voiceover. There was, Annie sends the video. We translate it. We rearrange how everything was said. Then we did a test. We did one voiceover. And they're like, well, let's make a couple changes here so it's a little clearer. and then we record again, and then a third time. And then finally we had something that we felt was good enough that we could bring everybody and that we could send out, where it got the message across. It was true to the original message, and it was easy, and it was shareable, and it also gave us the talking points to bring that story to the world.
Exactly. And that's the thing. It's sometimes when I'm on air, it becomes easy for people to forget. But remember, I can do the translation fine from Farsi to English. But then when I provide the English writing to Michael, he's very kind. He doesn't actually laugh at me, but he's like, well, I think it would make more sense if I said it this way, because my writing in English is still the grammar of Farsi. So he receives the absolute reverse sentencing on his hand. He's like, yeah, this is really good, but I think it's more fluent if you say it this way. And I'm like, oh yeah, just make it English. Like I provide Finglish to him, and then he takes my Finglish, turns it into English. Like, I'm sorry,
it's a team effort.
It is. It's like we always go from Farsi. So the steps are Farsi to Finglish, Finglish to English. Like you see, it doesn't go from Farsi to English. It's Farsi to Finglish, Finglish to English. It's fun. And again, please understand, regardless of what happens with the next whatever days, 8, 9, 10, whatever days left of this year, either we sell items, we don't sell item, we get promo code used, we get donation. Regardless, we are coming back to you first of the new year. We're not going anywhere. I want to emphasize it. We have taken 20 minutes to talk about all of this. This is not us saying we ain't coming back. We're coming back. I'm sorry, you're stuck with us. Which on that note, I should actually quickly hint at our trolls. I want to say thank you to all of our trolls, because if it wasn't for your commitment to come after us, we would lack that certain motivation of coming back, because we got to feed you. Because as much as you hate us, we still love you. So we got to keep coming back to give you something to run with and troll us. But I will say this, buckle up. It's going to be a lot harder to troll us next year, because as I said, lots of big things are coming. It might be hard for you to keep up. Maybe you want to call family members, friends to join you on trolling, but we still love you regardless of what you're doing. I'm going to talk about the very last update we have, because I want to make sure we get to the wishes and prayers before we wrap up today's live show. Live show. Yeah, that just went out the door. Another thing we will be covering excessively in the new year, after the first 3 months of the year. That's part of all the adjustments we have to make. But we will be covering the border.
Yes.
When I say we're covering, I'm not talking about we talking about it. Either both of us or one of us will regularly be at the border, reporting from the border. Because as those of you who are watching Brown House live, you're aware that Title 42 is almost lifted. A Supreme Court judge has put a momentarily hold on it. However, it's still going to be lifted. So we will be there, boots on the ground, in person, reporting as well to you.
Exactly. And there's going to be a lot more people joining us, as you kind of hinted at. Like we're planning on making a substantial investment both in our time and in improving the broadcast and the content that we're able to bring you. So there's going to be a lot of new things that we'll be covering. We'll be down there live on the border, like you mentioned. We're going to be going into some other projects that we've discussed. We don't want to tip our hand to the enemy already, but we have some pretty big things on the horizon once things get settled in 3 months or so.
Yes, and that, by the way, that's just Michael's way of doing things. Like, I love tipping my hand to the enemy. Like, I love doing that. It's like, hey, guess what? I'm coming. And then like, no, comes this crazy woman again. But I don't know. I understand the concept, but at the same time, sometimes when you tell them that more eyes are going to be on you, that they slow. You don't stop it, but you slow down the momentum. At least in my experience, that's how it has been. So that's that. That's what's coming 2023. And again, none of this, even ideas, wouldn't cross our minds if it wasn't for the support in all shapes and forms from every single one of you out there. I want to emphasize that we are very appreciative of you. Sometimes shows get crazy busy. Sometimes we have too many breaking news. I feel like we don't get the chance to every day tell you we are appreciative. We love the fact that you're still here. We are grateful that you take the time out of your day to listen, follow, share, or any of that concept. So please We will do our best to do better next year, to acknowledge you as much as we can. But if we have lacked that this year, do accept our apologies. Just because we have not verbalized it does not mean we have not acknowledged it in our heart and in mind. We know without you, none of this matters.
Yeah.
All of us are fighting for ourselves and each other. So, to our eyes, we're all still human society, one race under one God, and the fight shall go on. But for next couple of days, I know we're all going to take a little bit of break, just relax, refresh, get ready, recharge. I don't know about you, Mike, but I know I'm going to dive my head into my resin and diamond painting and paintings. That's my plan.
Exactly. And again, thank you to the audience. You guys really are the reason we do this. We want to do our part to help give you the tools to both spread this message and help our movement grow and help take this country back and turn it back into something that all of us recognize, get us back onto the Constitution and help stamp out a lot of these brush fires we keep seeing pop up all over the place. I know it feels like a lot of the time we're getting attacked from all sides, because we are, but it's up to us to fix that and to change that. And you're the essential part of that. Annie and I by ourselves are not going to make an impact. It takes an army of people like you. And thank you for being there and doing that for us.
Amen. Michael, let's
Yes,
do
ma'am.
this. You go first. What was your top 3 highlights of 2022? If you can throw them at us.
That's a good question, and especially on the spot. I think the
That's the
first one's
beauty
kind of,
of it.
yeah, I think the first one's both personal and what people know here professionally. So for me, the first big highlight was making the jump, leaving. For those of you who don't know, I was in the staffing industry for a long time. I worked as an executive at a couple different companies. I've worked in a variety of roles, and Annie kind of talked me into making the leap over here to start bringing content and leaving that industry behind. I worked behind the scenes with Lindell TV for a while. For those of you who don't know, I'm the Frank Clips guy. I do clips for a lot of their major shows, and that was kind of stepping my toe into this industry. And then thank you for all of her help coming forward. And now this is a regular thing that I do. So that's definitely my number one. Number two is, I guess, some of the other opportunities, being able to help grow the resin art business and some of the new ideas and the opportunities there, and for all the new friends and the new people I've met. So that's another. I guess that's three. Yeah, I just kind of ran two of them together, but yeah, that's three. What are your top three thank yous from last year?
Well, before I answer your question, I want to say this. You see, guys, you think that's all I do. You think I just come on camera, I do the reporting and translation. No, I am also talking people out of corporation into joining the army where we can keep fighting. I'm sorry. I just have
Yeah,
to
I
say
mean,
this. Like, you see,
you were a
I'm
big
the
inspiration.
troublemaker.
But yeah, you were a big inspiration for that. Obviously, everybody knows we've been friends off camera for a long time before this, and give me the little pushes, nudges, and encouragement I needed to step in front of the camera and start saying the things I was otherwise screaming to you at the phone or in your living room. So
Exactly. Amen. And that's one thing. I think back to your question of highlights. I think most definitely one of the highlights of my 2022 was either way. My English is going to leave me for a second. Being able to have the regular daily show on Lindell TV, where it was Monday through Friday, Live Up to Freedom, and then gradually by April, I believe we started our joint show on Sundays. Let's be frank, just having that platform of it's that matter of there are freedom fighters out there like Mike Lindell and Brown House Live and Diamond and Silk and Tamara Scott, Alex Newman, Roger Stone, Mike Crispy. I'm gonna forget names. Don't hold it against me. Will Johnson.
Will
You're
Johnson, I was
in
about
a
to say.
company of these freedom fighters as a regular broadcaster. It's one of the not only highlights as far as happiness goes, but also what an incredible booster of motivation to keep going. So that's
Yeah.
definitely one of my highlights of the year. The second one was Back to It Again, where I actually heard from you of like, okay, I'm game. Let's do a show together. I was like, yes, because a lot of time I love doing what I do. Don't misunderstand me, but a lot of time, on camera, you see the comments here and there, but it's kind of feel like you're just talking to yourself, and then in your head you're like, what am I saying, what was I doing? having a co-host, especially like you know, we're friends, we talk about things, we're very like-minded, even though we disagree
Yes.
on a lot of things that people don't realize. But
Yeah.
having the co-host, I felt like has helped me grow a lot more as a broadcaster or a journalist. And then last but not least, I would say my presentation in being at Lake of Ozark for Brian House annual Lake of Ozarks event.
Yes.
Absolutely, I will not forget that those 4 days, people, everybody, it was just absolutely amazing to have that experience, to share your thoughts with people, to engage with people one on one. A lot of people you've seen their ID on comments or their emails, and you get to meet them, and you get to either hug them, shake their hand, pray together. Yes, that definitely is on my top three highlights of the year.
Exactly. And I think 2022 brought a lot of good things, even though in some ways it was a very rough year, especially when people talk about like the economy and shortages and everything else that have happened. But there was also a lot of positive and a lot of good. And I think next year is going to be more of the same. That there's going to be, a lot of times it's about your perception. If you only focus on the negatives, then that's all you're going to see. But I think next year, 2023, is going to bring a lot of positive things, a lot of good, a lot of new changes. That doesn't mean there's not going to be some difficulties and some other bad things that happen too. But the world is what we make it. And if we focus on the positive, we try to grow that side of things, then that's what we're going to get in return.
Exactly. Amen. So we talked about what's well, a lot about what's coming next year, and we talked about the highlights of this year. So I'm gonna steal the microphone for a couple of minutes, Michael
Sure.
here, to share a few thoughts or a few things I have learned in 2022, and then you go after me. Um, my fellow Americans, it was a tough year. It was. I'm gonna go as far as saying it was even tougher than the COVID year. The reason I say that is even though during the whole COVID thing, there was a lot of isolation and a lot of depression and a lot of loneliness and all that, but there was a lot of faith involved with that year. But this year, we lost faith in uh, our government, our system altogether, our neighbors, our teachers, our FBI agents, our police. We lost faith. And to me, that's always a worse situation than isolation and depression. And somewhere along the way with this, as Americans, one nation under God, a constitution closest to perfection ever written, based on Judeo Christian values, we decided to lose faith in God. We agreed without agreeing verbally or physically, but subconsciously, we agreed for corruption to take away God even further from our lives. Now it's Christmas. If I would be picky and very picky, I would say it's not Christmas, it's Christmas that has over time become Christmas. As we celebrate Christmas, if you do, as we celebrate New Year's, and as we plan for the next year, let's have a plan. Whatever your plan is, I'm not going to tell you what your plan should be, but I will genuinely ask you to have a plan to bring God back to our heart, to our mind, to our home, to our local areas, and overall, at the end of the day, to our country. Because as much as, I'm normally a sarcastic person, I make jokes, most of the time bad jokes. I can go at them or not. I do my best not to preach too much for my own reasons. I do my best to keep my fight of Islamization clear from doing any comparison of Christianity and Islam. But at the end of the day, the only thing I pray for and I wish for and I look forward to is a year with one change and one change only, and that is for us to go back to one nation under God. God being God, the creator, the one who's in charge, the one who's in control, the one who sacrificed his one and only son for us. That God. Let's bring him back to our homes. Let's stop putting up with things that are so far from godly that is somewhat shameful. Whatever it takes, push for it. Do what it takes. Jobs and houses and cars and friends and family members, all of that will stay here when we're buried. That moment, the regrets could be worse than regret of, I don't know, saying no to a job opportunity. So that is my bottom line today. As last time I'm on air talking to all of you, I want you to please put all your priorities of bucket list and resolution list, put them all from second down on the very first one. Put on your bucket list, priority list, resolution list, whatever you do to bring God back, even if you still have God in your heart. Bring him back deeper and deeper. We are past the part where we should say it's none of our business. It is our business. From the head, or I call it the top of the umbrella of America, until your very front door is your business because you're an American. Let's be proud Americans again. Let's make it our business and let's acknowledge one of the reasons, or to me, the only reason America is suffering to this point is because we allowed the removal of God from our life, culture, society, law, and order. And that, all yours, Michael.
Well, you hit the nail right on the head, and it is we've walked away from our faith, and instead we now tolerate evil, and it's become more and more blatant and more clear that a lot of what we has started as toleration of evil has led to these paths that we see now, whether it's the LGBT agenda and transing the kids and that kind of stuff. So we need to get back to the roots of our faith, the roots of our conviction. But we also need to all have the courage to stand and understand that sometimes we are going to have to individually make sacrifices. And we have to stop making compromises on our beliefs and saying, well, it's okay. If I make this decision, I might lose my job. And you might. There may be rough times ahead. That also means we have to start doing a better job pulling together as a community and as a community of faith of Americans that believe in our Constitution. So if someone does take a hit like that and they lose their job, lose their income, and their family suffer, we need to pull together and try to help pull that person up. So we need to do a better job of that. Again, it's something the left is very good at. If one of them gets arrested or whatever, there's somebody hops up to pay their bail money. So we definitely need to make our faith and our commitment to God and to the Judeo-Christian values our country was founded on into our Constitution. We need to grow that. But we also need to have the courage to actually stand for it. Having it in your heart is fine, but when your metal's tested, you need to actually come through the other side and not just compromise or not just tolerate evil.
Amen. A very dear Iranian friend of mine said something that shook me to the core a few days ago. He said, sometimes I want to reach out to Americans. Now, he is in Iran, a fellow Christian. He said, sometimes I want to reach out to Americans and say, a closeted Christian in a free country is not a Christian. We die when we hold on to our Bible, and we still hold on to our Bible. Let me repeat what he said. A closeted Christian in a free land is not a Christian. We die for holding on to our Bibles, and we still hold on to our Bibles. Let that sink in.
Yeah, exactly. I can understand when somebody's under penalty of death for having a Bible, why they might want to hide that and not be so public about it, where your life's literally on the line. But if all of us keep hiding and not be willing to stand for things, then that will come here eventually. They like to make people the other, the enemy. And if they can, I mean, think about it. You just had this shooting. They immediately wanted to blame conservative Christians, white supremacists, whatever boogeyman they want to pull out of the closet. No pun intended. But if we give them the opportunity and we don't stand, they'll just start doing that even more. I really didn't mean to say it that way. That I realized it right after the words came out of my mouth.
That needed a drum roll.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll add a soundboard for that next year.
Oh, you see, we can't even be serious for more than 2 minutes. Like, it just doesn't fly, which is awesome. Don't get me wrong.
Impossible. Yeah.
It's impossible. Anyhow, okay. I'm going to gather my... No, I'm not. But yes, this is it. Let's do this. And again, we are not asking you to do it, and then we're just gonna go, not do it ourselves. We will do it. Uh, let's touch on one more topic, Michael. I mean, unless you have any other topic to touch on, but I want to touch on one more topic to make it a little easier for everyone, because we have a very, very big number of supporters that are kind of, I call it, each one have their own corner or town. I call it like YouTube town, Facebook town, Getter town, Lindell
Yes.
TV town. So here's the thing, guys. We have one big town that everybody is welcome to. It's called liveuptofreedom.com. Liveuptofreedom.com. From whichever corner of this planet Earth and whatever platform you have come to know us, like what we do, and put your support behind us, there's one very open land that has room for everybody. And you can literally just go there, liveuptofreedom.com. When you get to liveuptofreedom.com, the very top of the page says register or sign up for a newsletter. We don't jam your inbox. We don't send you non-stop emails. We send one email, just one email every Saturday. Every Saturday, one email goes out with all the important topics. If there are any announcements, anything, one email. So it is for free to sign up. Go on liveuptofreedom.com and put your email address. That's all you need to do. We don't even require your name. If you don't want to give your name, that's all right. Put your email address, sign up, and you become, subscriber to our newsletter. Here's a simpler way that we have now. If you want to sign up via your email, use text, like grab your cell phone, open a new text. On the recipient number, put 22828. 22828. 22828. That's pretty simple. And then on the message part, say LUTF. Press send. An auto-generated text message will ask you to provide your email address. You put in your email address, boom, you're signed up to our newsletter. Just like that. That's simple. Now, why do I emphasize on this? One land, one newsletter. I'm banned on Facebook right now. We just got back on YouTube after 2 weeks of being banned here. There is a ban going everywhere. But no matter who and where we're banned from, we got our website, which is ours. And then we have our newsletter system, which is ours again. So no matter what, we can stay in touch with you. You can stay in touch with us. We can spread the news and you can grab it and run with it. So I feel like it's important to invite everybody. Comes 2023, this is an open invitation with a gorgeous red carpet and a couple of photographers are standing by. Join us at liveuptofreedom.com. liveuptofreedom.com. Sign up to our newsletter. Make sure you are signed up so you receive the news and everything else. And everything we have from our merchandise. I have people, Michael, so they're like, wait, you have merch? Yeah. I mean, at the beginning, I'm like, what's that? Like t-shirts and stuff, like, oh, merchandise? Yes. Remember, English, not my first language, so abbreviations don't click. Oh, yeah, you have that. I don't have any of our merch. Do I have anything here? No, shame on me. What's up?
That's all I have handy.
Yeah, we have coffee mugs, we have t-shirts, we have hoodies. Season of hoodie right now. Grab our hoodies.
Yeah, for sure.
Tumblr, like the one Michael just showed you. Yes, merchandise access on the website, Artist Studio access on the website, promo codes for My Pillow on the website, you name it, on the website, everything on the website. I mean, I the only thing you don't find on the website is probably my shoe size, which is 9, just in case if you need it. I know I got like giant feet. But anyways, that's irrelevant. It's not like somebody's gonna buy me a pair of heels for Christmas. I gotta go do that myself. What
maybe next year. Yeah, it's terrible. Maybe next year. I don't know. My style's not good enough to pick out heels to be a gift card for them.
I know. You see, that's one of the things I need to get used to. Like shoes and purses are too personal to buy for anyone. You buy them a gift card, they go buy it themselves. I know. But the moment, the excitement of opening a package and there's like a pair of heels, preferably like sky blue or red, you're like, life is so good. Okay, enough. I know it's Christmas, but I think I'm taking it a little too far on that. But yes, red and sky blue heels are just gorgeous. And by the ways, I should say this absolutely for no good reason. One of the, I think the second most sentence I heard at Lake of Ozark event, Michael, from almost 500, 600 people I talked to, the second most famous, the repeated sentence was, oh, you're so tall. I was like, I'm not. I'm wearing heels. They're like, no, you're tall. So for the record, I am 5'9". I know you always see like about this much of Amy Cyrus, but I am 5'9". Now, if that's tall in your book, then yes, I am tall. If that's average, I'm average. But yep, that's what it is. In the future, hopefully, if I get to see everybody that I always just see their text or comments, I am 5'9", normally wearing heels, so you can count on 6 to 6'1" as my average height when you meet me.
Yeah, exactly. In heels, you're
Useless
basically my height.
information.
Yeah, in heels, you're basically my height. I'm 6'2", so
Yes, I am. So that's just for I know it sounds very useless, but for some reason, every time I meet someone of audience, they're like, "Wow, you're tall." I'm like, "Wow, why does everybody say that? Like, what gives away that I'm short on camera?" I'm like,
well,
I
I
don't
was
get
gonna
it.
say it could be worse, could be the opposite. They could be like, "Wow, you're shorter than we thought you'd be."
That would be better because, like,
Yeah,
look at these hands. Like, does my hand look like I would be a short person? I don't know. Maybe I'm just that producer in me, like, puts all the concept together. Like, I can tell who's tall, who's short. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked again. Coming back to it, we gotta wrap this up. I know some of our audience are loving this right now because I know we have those audience who love, when we go a little personal on the discussions and all that. I'm pretty sure some of the audience are like, seriously, you're like wasting my time to tell me how tall you are. Oh, I'm sorry, just flip the
you know,
channel.
it was relevant to the conversation.
It was relevant to the conversation. Yes, that is very true. Okay, so back to the big land of invitation. Here's your open invitation. Join us, liveuptofreedom.com. I understand you might need to open a browser, just favorite the link or something, but we kind of need to reverse engineer this lazy mindset that apps have created for us. If it's not an app, I'm just not going to go in there. So
Yeah, and
thank you. You see, I'm sorry. I'm a little afraid to pronounce your full ID. I know the last part of it is Yuzumaki, but I don't know how to say the first part, so I'm just gonna refer to see Yuzumaki likes this kind of conversation when we talk
yeah,
about like how tall I am. Or how I
yeah.
shock people when they meet me in person. Okay, one more irrelevant, but I met a very, very lovely supporter slash audience of mine in 2017, and I never forget what she said. Like it literally just blurbed out, and then she was like, "I'm like, it's okay, it's hilarious." She's like, "You got legs."
Ha, ha.
I was like, one of the reasons I started TikToking is I'm gonna do a dance so people know I actually have legs. It's not like
Yeah,
I'm
that you're
just
not
from
just a
here
floating
up.
torso. Yeah. Oh,
So like, I got legs. Yes, I got legs. I got 10 toes, 10 fingers. I'm like, oh, I know it's kind of weird, but yeah. She as soon as she said it, she's like, I'm like, no, it was hilarious. I'm glad you thought for a long time you thought I have legs.
thought I just had wheels down there. I just or scoot around on a cart, or just a robot they shut off between the shots.
Yes, I'm sorry, I distracted. We were talking about the lazy mindset of apps. You see, at least the good thing is when I
Yes.
get us distracted, I remember where we were.
Yeah, and like the reason that we're really hitting on and making sure everybody signs up on Live Up to Freedom and checks things there is, as you've seen, we've had the two bans in just the last 30 days on Facebook, and then the YouTube one that just lifted. I guess a little over 30 days. And I personally think, especially as Twitter has opened up, that other platforms are going to become more restrictive, almost to compensate for that. So I think that is one thing that we probably are going to pick up other strikes and other things. We're not going to try to do that, but sometimes we talk about a topic and we're not even aware that you're not supposed to bring that up. So you can always find out what's current and the highlights on Live Up to Freedom, plus find the links again to the merchandise store, to the studio, to everything. That's the central hub you need to go to.
Yes. Oh, thanks for reminding me that. Um, when I was like, did I say if? When we start the actual build up, like we get the plan ready, we got the location, we got the finances. When we start building the studio, both the artist studio and the broadcasting studio, we will actually start putting progress videos. You get access to behind the scene where it won't be on our stream. So that's another reason it would be good to sign up for the newsletter. But we will load those on all of our channels. like YouTube, Gap,
I got
help
a
me
good
out here,
idea.
Tutor, something. What are the other? Go ahead. What's the idea?
Some of the behind the scenes, especially as these projects start to come together, we ought to start doing those on Patreon again. We talked about restarting that a while back. Maybe that's what we can do, and then do some more kind of back and forth banter sessions like this. Open it up to Patreon.
Yes, here's the bad news. Remember, Patreon nuked my
Oh
Aki's
yeah, I
channel.
forgot.
There is no more
Yeah.
Patreon.
Well,
Yes. So
all right, we
how
need to
about
find an
this? We're
alternative.
gonna put it. Well, let's do this because I kind of would like to do this. Let's leave it up to our audience. We are still going to put it on public record or public domain. Sorry, but if anybody thinks they want to chip in as we do this, we don't have to put it behind a paid wall necessarily. If our audience feel like what we're doing is worth, dollar, 5, 10, whatever their generosity is, they can just shoot us a PayPal.
Yeah.
Let's just still give the excitement to everybody because, as I said, we're gonna have a little bit of a bumpy road 2023. So it's fun, a little bit of more hope if we can. But again, you do need to be signed up. It's for free, but you do need to be signed up on our email list to get the emails because it won't be like we're not starting our live stream like, hey, look what we did yesterday. We're probably going to talk about it a little bit, but
Yeah.
yeah, you will get progress videos either, as we built the artist studio, we built the broadcasting studio, and on. You will get not necessarily daily updates because I don't know if we have time to work on all of this every day because we still have to do our jobs, remember. But
Yeah.
as we make things that as walls go up and tables go up and lights are hung and microphones are installed, we send you information and videos. Okay, so we have a little bit of time. Is there anything else, Michael, you would like to add, you would like to discuss, you would like to give call to action out, anything?
Ooh, let me think. You know, there's only a little time left in this year. What if ask everybody in our audience to think of one person that made a big impact in your life that you haven't thanked. Go thank them. And everybody, we joked around earlier about not making New Year's resolutions, but try to come up with one thing that you are going to do. Make sure you stick to it. That will help change things for our whole country, make things better. Maybe this is, I always harp on you need to be calling your congressman and giving them, encouragement when they need encouragement, thank them when they do something good, and then also hold them accountable. If there's something that you want to see them done, ask them when that's going to happen.
Well, it should be number two because your dictator here already made everybody do their number one, bringing God back. So it's like
Yes.
number two. Huh,
Yeah.
listen, I'm a good dictator though. Like I do dictating of good things. I'm kidding.
Yes. Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
I agree. I love the thank you part. I do. One of the things, as we still have a few minutes, let's make it a little lighter because it's someone commented with having the show a bit light-hearted is always good, and I'm glad to hear
Yeah.
that. One of the things this year, 2022, one of the things that I felt through my heart was how much of a difference it makes when circumstances and situations are revolving around convenience, from friendship to relationships to marriage to work, everything seems to be a new norm that we're there for someone when it's convenient. We're not there when it's inconvenient. And through all of that, I started realizing one of the reasons, the thank you notes, as I call them, are becoming less and less, or gratitude is becoming less of um, attitude in our society as one human society, is actually that very thing, because we have forgotten that compromises and sacrifices are beyond our children. As a society, compromises and sacrifices are to be made at all time. And I always say, you think you're not compromising, but with every single decision, knowingly or unknowingly, you are making a compromise or sometimes a sacrifice. The difference is because you didn't think of making it, you're making it without knowing. So therefore, sometimes you might be making a bigger compromise or a bigger sacrifice by not considering the sacrifice and compromise. I just repeated sacrifice and compromise so many times. I don't think anybody got an idea what I'm saying, but I hope you did. Uh, Point being, I love that idea.
Yeah.
Thank people who have made a difference in any shape or forms. Just simply sometimes they picked up the phone in middle of a chaos day to make sure you're okay.
Yeah.
That moment, trust me, somewhere in your heart, you felt so not alone because somebody picked up the phone and was there. And farther, closer, whatever, even a small step. I agree. Let's bring back gratitude too. It's a beautiful thing. Gratitude goes a long way. I definitely
Yes.
have learned that in life.
Well, and this is the thing, like there's a lot of people that do a lot and they end up feeling unappreciated. Or sometimes, it isn't always that people don't need that, but we want to encourage the things we want to see more of. And you do that by showing gratitude for even if it's something little that somebody did for you. And sometimes that makes a big difference. It makes a big impact in that person's life. And it helps them to continue doing that, continue to do that piece of good behavior or doing that thing that made an impact for you. And then they'll be more likely to do that for someone else. It spreads that. And again, it lets everybody know that we appreciate them, that we're watching them, we're paying attention to what they do, and we like it. We don't want to just go around being negative all the time. And I think it's so much easier to be negative and post negative comments on stuff. That's what gets reactions. It's what the media shows us. If it bleeds, it leads, as they like to say. But I think we need to be the other side of that coin since we can't expect anybody else to do it for us.
Amen. Agreed. 100%. Lots of good coming. With it, bad coming. So take the rest of the year, refresh, recharge, enjoy your families if you have some. Um, if you don't, hear it from me. It's okay. It's all right. You can always choose a family. And then, even if they're not next to you on the couch, you can most definitely remember that at the end of the day, all of us have at least one very, very, very loving and caring family member, and that is our Heavenly Father. So don't let that get to you this holiday season. Um, Not saying it's easy, but that helps. Enjoy the rest of this year. We will come back. I think I'm gonna actually miss everybody, Michael, but I guess it's a good thing.
Well, we'll see what happens. Who knows? Maybe by the middle of next week, we'll both decide we've got to pop on here since everything's a rerun next week anyway. So we'll see what happens.
Yes, yes. But with a minute or two left, I'm gonna actually direct this quickly um, towards you, Michael. I've already said these on the phone, but I would like to do this acknowledgement publicly. Thank you, not only for always jumping on camera, carrying a lot of times when I couldn't make it. You did the sitting in for my show, helping with research, a lot of research that people don't even know. You're always doing the research, and I'm just sitting here delivering the news. Uh, but on top of that, thank you for many times this year when I was ready to throw in the towel and without convincing me, but just reminding me why I do what I do, kept me going. So for that, thank you. Um, and I definitely look forward to our more and more production, more and more journalism, reporting, driving, traveling, fighting harder and harder for our freedoms with you, riding shotgun with me
Right.
next year.
Yeah. Yeah. Literally and figuratively. But no, I also want to thank you for all that you've done and all that you've helped me with and the inspiration that you've been both here, coming out in media and starting to work with you more closely and in the art studio and all the ideas and all the wonderful times and experiences that we've had together over the last year. It means more than you know. And thank you for being there with me, for being my friend and being everything else, and being so wonderful and amazing like you are.
You definitely are very kind and generous toward me. Everybody else, wherever you are, YouTube, Facebook, Getter, Gab, liveuptofreedom.com, Lindell TV, wordviewweekend.com, frankspeech.com, anywhere else that you might be watching this. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. We will be praying for you and we ask you to pray for us. We will come back with more detail, better quality, and hopefully you will come back to join us in 2023 and the next part of this journey as we fight for our freedoms and we hold the line until the day our Lord and Savior shall arrive to guide us even further.
Yes, again. Thank you to everybody in our audience. Thank you for being here and for all of your support. Um, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, and don't forget to live up to freedom. Thank you.
And on top of that, don't forget mystore.com, mypillow.com, promo code AC21AC, Annie Cyrus, AC21. LUTFstudio.com, LUTFstudio.com, promo code Frank, liveuptofreedom.com for other details, paypal.me/LUTF. And if you want to reach out just with a simple, wonderful, and heartwarming note that you wrote with your own hand, P.O. Box 477, Boys Town, Nebraska 68010. Stay safe, stay vigilant. May God bless you, and may God bless America. Until next year, possibly, y'all stay safe. Bye, guys.
Thanks again. Bye.